Jose Macia, known as Pepe, was part of the legendary Brazilian squads that won the 58 and 62 World Cups. He was also part of the Santos side that traveled across the world. He once joked that he was the greatest Santos striker on the planet because Pele was from Saturn. He stayed at Santos for his entire career, but despite having 2 World Cup medals, he never actually participated in the tournament due to injuries. What does this guy have to do with our story? Well, apparently, they were labeling Leo Anites as the next Pepe. Juliano Mateus got the label of the next Adriano. For many reasons, I think these guys are hoping certain part of their careers don't interline with theirs. At their respective clubs, both had an objective to cement that number 9 spot, and did so by earning that number on the back of their shirts. After defeating Juliano Mateus' Fortaleza in the Copa do Brasil, Leo's next aim was to meet them again next season in Brazil's top flight. Ceara haven't been there since their 2022 relegation, and it wasn't a simple task. 4 places were up for grabs, but the sides relegated from the Serie A were damn good. Yet, with Leo Anites improving rapidly, Ceara were off to a cold start? 3 losses in the opening 4 is no way to get promoted. The only positive for Leo is he scored 3 times, but they haven't played any tough opposition and wouldn't do so until they got through May. They needed to pick up results now or kiss goodbye to promotion not even halfway through the campaign. Thankfully, the team improved, winning 4 straight fixtures. The highlight being Leo Anites' hat-trick versus São Bernardo. 5 goals in the month for the kid resulted in 5 dubs in the league, advancing them just outside the promotion places. Also, Leo's currently the top scorer. On the level up, Fortaleza were struggling. Since that 5-0 beatdown from their rivals, they didn't win a single match in the league, scoring once in 5. The Copa Sudamericana stuffed their schedule, and results for that weren't much better. With Mateus' last goal on April 25th, that saw them sit in the relegation zone. Returning north, Leo brought the heat with a brace versus Grêmio Novo Horizontino. Then arrived some tough fixtures, and in turn, a drop of form. Inexcusable losses like against Volta Redonda FC at home. There was also Bahia, Curitiba, and Atlético Paranaense causing difficulties. Worst of all, Curitiba saw Leo subbed off due to a torn hamstring. This caused him to miss a couple months, including the Copa do Brasil quarters. We'll return to Ceara when he is up and running. Fortaleza increased their output, won their Copa Sudamericana group, but were losing more often than not. It wasn't helped with Juliano still not scoring in the league since his opening day brace. You can dominate the youth leagues, but maybe this was too big of a step for the 16-year-old. Or maybe everybody should be patient. Results somewhat improved across the Brazilian winter months. For Juliano, Avaí was the highlight. It was his 8th start of the Brasileiro, as he wasn't selected for every game. Yet, nearly 3 months had passed since his last league goal. That would change thanks to an error by Wellington. It wasn't enough for a win, but his confidence seemed to be returning. 2 match days later versus Cruzeiro, Juliano was allowed to take a penalty to continue his form. A goal is a goal, and with his team winning, it should be fine. However, a clown named João Paulo was flustering the youngster throughout the encounter. Realistically, the kid should ignore him. Yep, that's not what Juliano did, as he instead 2-footed the lad, seeing himself sent to the showers. The fans began wondering if maybe they needed to buy a new striker or play others out of position to ease the pressure. They've been doing the latter to an extent already, but instead, the coach kept playing him whenever he was fit. Thanks to the amount of midweek fixtures, that wouldn't be every single match. Nevertheless, rumors began to swirl on why as a 16-year-old, he was out there so often. We know about the relation of these training facilities and his dad already, so it's fair to assume nepotism was at play, according to some frustrated fans. Whether true or not, these reports are unavoidable, especially when they scored twice in 5 Serie A fixtures, nearly got eliminated from the Copa Sudamericana to Delfim of Ecuador, and would get knocked out by Defensa y Justicia. Meanwhile, Leo was still recovering from his injury, but if we shift back to the beginning of July, Ceara had the Copa do Brasil quarters versus Bahia, a fellow promotion rival and the team that defeated Fortaleza in the Copa do Nordeste. Their attackers Ignacio Ramirez and Raniel were lighting it up in the Serie B. With a 10-match undefeated run and 1 loss in the campaign overall, they defeated a strong Fluminense side to get here. So it was going to be a massive challenge for the Vozil, especially with a 1-0 deficit. Ceara lost the first leg thanks to Luis Otavio's clumsy error. Although they were lucky the margin wasn't wider. Still, they had a chance to overcome the deficit a week later at home. Yeah, they did lose 5-0 on the weekend, but that's because they were looking forward to this match. Leo was pumped, but jealous at the same time. Maybe we'll see him for the semi-final, if they got through. Why the doubt though? The team has done it in big moments before, plus Leo's Paulo Carlos Wilson was starting. Things look promising, as in the 20th minute, a deflected shot led to Igor being pushed in the frenzy, meaning Ceara could equalize the tie from the spot. Bisoli was stepping up, and Leo knew he would score. He's been learning how to take pens from him, and he's never missed one in training or in a game. He got stopped. In the second half, Bahia would themselves win a penalty, which saw Raniel tuck it home. Ceara were eliminated, while Bahia went on to defeat Santos in the semis and face Flamengo in the final. In that final, they fought hard until the end, but it wasn't enough. In late August, Fortaleza had 2 tricky away games, Cuiabá and Avalle. First up, the former, a corner, was given early on. From it, Juliano Mateus would leap and connect with the opener. That led to a 2-1 victory, and it got better at Avalle. He's got the physical traits, so watch him take advantage of them. With a brace earned following the half, he'd be allowed to score his 3rd off a penalty. That, along with an assist, gave him a match to remember. At around the same time, Leo was returning from injury for Ceara. After elimination from the Copa do Brasil to Bahia, his club would win 5-7 and continued the form when he returned to the pitch. While his return was less than spectacular, in the very next match versus Londrina, he'd score his first goal since his injury. With them in a great position for promotion with 9 matches remaining, would they be able to clinch it? Fortaleza, meanwhile, were occupying the final Copa Sudamericana spot with 10 fixtures remaining. Plus, Juliano was sparkling, nabbing a hat-trick versus Sao Paulo. That continued with a 10th-minute goal against Goiás. They would end up conceding 5 in the first half. With neither teenager called up for any Brazil youth side for the international break, they were able to continue training with their clubs for the season's conclusion. For Ceara, it was back and forth with wins and losses, making promotion look tight with 4 fixtures to go. Fortaleza, on the other hand, maintained their spot for the Copa Sudamericana, but only by a single point. They resumed their bad run with a single goal in October. At least 3 of the remaining 5 fixtures were against teams below them. However, when your form stinks, it doesn't matter who you play, because they genuinely went on an atrocious run. 1 win in the last 9 fixtures. 1. Plus, the momentum Juliano had didn't last long, as he exclusively scored from the spot. That meant no continental football for Fortaleza. A positive is that there will be less games to worry about next season, but an absolute miserable campaign for the fans. Despite the negativity surrounding the club, Juliano ended the Brasileiro Serie A with 14 goals as a 16-year-old. Fans and pundits may have been too harsh on him. Granted, a lot were pens. Juliano was very thankful to his teammates, who helped him get through a tough debut season in senior football, a gesture the veterans appreciated. What about Leo and Ceara? Will they return to the top flight? Playing 3 of the promotion favorites, they drew Coritiba and Atlético Paranaense while defeating Brusque. The latter saw a pair of braces, which included Leo, of course, and another from right back Arnaldo. Losing to Grêmio on the final match day didn't do damage because both went up. They can thank Grêmio Novo Horizontino for failing to get a result, seeing Ceara claim 4th place. It was tight, but the club had to feel they struck gold with Leo Anites. 20 matches played, and he grabbed 17. Who knows how difficult the jump to the top flight will be, but what's certain is the upcoming Leo Anites versus Juliano debates. In the news following the season, it was learned that Santos signed a new striker, and that striker was Juliano Mateus.